Well, in 1992, the Nebraska football team hadn't won a national title since the 70s. UNK was only a year removed from being called Kearney State, and both the three-point line and shot clock had just turned 6 years old in college basketball. It's also the year Ed Littler moved to central Nebraska to anchor sports for a station known at the time as KHAS TV5.
Well, it was a terrific college football game here in Manhattan in the snow.
Covering 25 years of sports in Nebraska allows a person to gather a world of experience. And for Ed Littler, he's seen about everything.
Greetings from the Valley of the Sun.
He also came into a nice situation when it comes to Nebraska football. In Ed's first 5 years of being in central Nebraska, the Huskers won 3 national championships.
The final score from the Rose Bowl here tonight, it was Miami 37, Nebraska 14.
But as the Huskers faded into the pack, Ed kept pushing a Channel 5 sports team that became the cutting edge of central Nebraska sports.
Pull.
Ed's journey to Nebraska started all the way back in Tallahassee, Florida, where he graduated from Florida State in 1976. Fresh out of school, he spent his first 3 years as a sports reporter at WOWK-TV in Huntington, West Virginia. He then jumped to Ohio, where he spent 2 years at WSYX-TV in Columbus, then 5 years at WYTV in Youngstown, Ohio, and another 3 years at WAKC-TV in Akron. Then came 1992, and Ed's journey in central Nebraska began. From covering national championships to high school rodeos, Ed immersed himself in the area seemingly more than anybody before him. And it's safe to say now, 25 years later, Ed Littler eats, sleeps, and breathes Nebraska sports just like he did 25 years ago. Certainly a memorable career here in central Nebraska, and now we bring in a man who's been able to experience half of it, first from afar, now also as a co-worker in our network of stations. Sports director Kevin Suits of our sister station 1011 joining us now. Kevin, you've known Ed for more than a decade. What do you have to say about his 25 years here in the state?
Well, Ed means so extremely much, not only to sports across Nebraska, but especially in the Tri-Cities. Everybody knows Ed. He knows the scene so extremely well, and he's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to high schools like Kearney and Grand Island and, of course, Hastings. And, you know, one thing that I remember Ed for and know of him is that he goes to interviews to ask questions. But not only does he always ask questions to the people on the other side of the camera, he does so with those around him as other members of the media. And I've always loved that about Ed. He always asks about me, about my family, and about what's going on in my life. And not everybody does that in this business. It's always go, go, go. We're working on deadline. But Ed Littler is always quick to ask about us. And I love that so extremely much about Ed Littler.
Phone earlier today. You had some funny stories. Obviously, when you're in the business 25 years in one state, you build a lot of them. But you yourself, even in your 12 or 13 years here, have been able to share some of those. Can you share one with us tonight?
Picking one's pretty hard. I can think of some that happened in the lunchroom at Memorial Stadium where the media has a lot of our festivities. I can think of some at the state basketball tournament. But one that I remember about 5 years ago, Nebraska was playing in the Gator Bowl. And right before kickoff, the skies opened up and it started pouring. It really kind of came out of nowhere. Ed was on the sidelines with me, and none of us were really prepared for the situation. Ed had a trash bag with him, of course, to help protect yourself from the rain. But for Ed, instead of using the trash bag to cover himself, he used it to cover the camera. Always thinking company and the job first. He was drenched. He might not admit it now, but he was soaking wet, as most of us were. But Ed was making sure that priority number one was take care of that valuable piece of equipment, and he just dealt with it the rest of the game like the true sport that Ed Littler is.
Well, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. I know you have a busy day ahead out there in Lincoln, but thank you so much for paying tribute to Ed. He's actually in studio right now listening and enjoying your comments. Thank you so much. Ed,
congratulations on 25 outstanding years. We love working with you, and we love being a part of your journey. So thank you so much for letting us be along with the ride.